Hello, all who have found their way to this specific channel at this specific point in time. Today's message comes from Spirit, and the topic of today's channeling session will be about the different channels that you come across as you explore what it means to be a messenger of ethereal, interdimensional, and divine languages and beings. We see a type of division across the spiritual community. Those who explore metaphysics, those who dabble in different types of magical paradigms, and those who experience and appreciate interdimensional and often supernatural experiences. We see a lot of judgment cast on many different types of channelers. For some, the animated channelers seem like frauds, too many movements, too loud, too unique, too attached to the personality of the individual who channels. Some others say, well, this person couldn't possibly be channeling such and such deity, such and such individual, because their characters are completely different. They would never say something like that. They would never act like that. And so they take great offense when seeing a specific channel channeling it in a specific way. We would like to talk or speak to the mechanism by which channeling happens. The reality is that there is no such thing as a pure channel, aka a channel that is devoid from personality and character traits of a human. In other words, every single channeling that you listen to will have a type of filter on it through which the being, interdimensional message, or divine notice is sent. So you will come across, for instance, many different channelers who channel a specific being. Let's say they channel the Archangel Gabriel. And these individuals are from different countries, different languages, different backgrounds, nationalities, and ethnicities. You will be able to listen to the messages of Archangel Gabriel with about a third of those individuals. And the other 2/3 you will reject because they are not geared towards your preferences. Perhaps you were raised with a more Christian background, and to you, Archangel Gabriel is supposed to be a very dignified, almost ancient looking individual, ancient acting individual. Some of you will say, well, none of these channelers are channeling Archangel Gabriel. Why? Because if he did channel, he would potentially only talk in an ancient language. Maybe the closest thing to that would be Amharic, Aramaic, if you will. And so you cast aside all messages given by these different channelers, saying, well, of course they cannot be channeling Gabriel. That is not possible. Then maybe you come across 5 different channelers who are channeling Yeshua or Jesus in your English terms, in your Western terms. And then part of you is very taken aback, if not offended, at the idea that they would dare channel a human being that is of such holiness that they transition into a godlike state. So of course, a broken human could never channel divine messages from Yeshua himself. In fact, how dare they? They act too happy. They are too loud. Why do they laugh? Why do they move? And you find all these reasons to reject a specific message because you have this very set ideas on what a channel should do and should look like when channeling a specific entity or a specific message. Now, we do not intervene with that, as you have the right to decide who you listen to, and you have the free will to choose from all these different individuals which ones you bring into your guidance system. We are completely fine with you rejecting any and all channelers or channeled messages. However, we challenge the rejection. We challenge the rejection because the amount of channeling types is equivalent to the amount of humans existing on this earth. Everyone is capable of channeling. Everyone holds a filter called humanness, with which they filter the message coming through. So in one channel, you might see a very happy Yeshua coming through. In another channel, you might see a very dignified Yeshua coming through who only speaks in Hebrew. Which one is true? The reality is that they all hold points of truth. Now, what's important, though, is to hold everything with open hands. Be curious. Check things out. Feel what you want to feel. And then ask yourself, how much of this is my own personal judgment, my prejudice, my own sense of discrimination? How much of this is me being annoyed or offended rather than wisely discerning? What is the difference between discriminating and wisely discerning, you ask? Well, one is filled with love and peace, no rushedness and no offense. The other one is filled with great offense, anger. How dare they? How could they? Please, we encourage you to be careful when these emotions come up, because they are simply messengers telling you that there's something within you that is blocking you from seeing everything as one. Yes, even the idea of false prophets is technically an illusion, because there can be no falsity in a unified world. There's only contrast, positive, negative, the polarity of the third dimensional and fourth dimensional world. But as you increase your understanding of reality, you will realize that everything is just two sides of one coin. Now, does that mean that you should listen to every single channeler out there? No, that is not what we're saying. In fact, we encourage you to seek those out that bring warmth into your heart, that encourage peace, that allow you to tap into your personal joy, that allow you to express more of your authentic and genuine self. If you can find those individuals and you resonate with what they're saying, not because it's fuzzy, mainstream, and quote-unquote sexy, what they are saying, then follow these individuals until you have exhausted everything that you could learn from them, and then switch up and find new individuals that you could learn from. As for those that you simply cannot vibrate with, those that you look at, cringe, and shiver, it is all right if you do not listen to them. It is completely fine if you do not pay attention to their channels and their messages. But we do encourage you not to judge too harshly, for they could have been you in a parallel life. The other thing we wish to mention about finding the channelers that you would like to listen to, you will notice that a grand majority of the channelers that you will find online are English speaking. A grand majority are located in the United States, in the UK, or English speaking European countries. This is not a coincidence. This is also not a type of neo-colonialism, imperialism in disguise. No, it is simply because English is the most known language across the world. If German was the most known language across the world, then in this day and age, you would find a majority of the channelers being German speaking. So what's the purpose behind all this? We need these messages to reach as many people as possible. We want these divine truths to settle into the subconscious and the overconscious of humanity as quickly and as broadly as possible. As this consciousness rises and individuals settle into these truths, these channeled messages will come forth more and more in less mainstream media and funnels. You will see channelers in Spanish arising, channelers in Chinese arising, channelers in Hindu arising. Hindi, we apologize, Hindi arising. And the beauty of this all is that as everyone becomes unified, even these languages start to lose their power. And you will be suddenly finding yourself listening to a Chinese channeled message in 2 to 3 years, in 20 or 30 years. And everything in your body will start to vibrate because your body will understand the truths hidden beyond the language that your ears capture. So do not be too worried or stressed out that some communities are not able to hear. We argue that many of those communities that are not very familiar with the English language have had channeling for many hundreds of years and have been listening to channeled messages way more than you have. It is not your responsibility to save anyone. It is also not your responsibility to carry the burden of the world, thinking of all these things that are wrong and must be rectified. Again, we say it is good to be informed. It is not good to be attached and obsessed to information. Allow for prayer and true truth to come through organically in the timing that it must. Creation and creator force is very intelligent, much more intelligent than any case scenario and problem-solving abilities that you carry. Everything is happening exactly according to plan. Even if things seem chaotic, even if it seems as if people, individuals, and governments are getting in the way of humanity arising to its consciousness, please be assured that everything is going according to plan and in the rhythm that it must, so that humanity can adopt and adapt to the rise in consciousness across this universe. We thank you for your willingness to explore yourself and this reality. We thank you for your willingness to listen to this specific channeled message and all others that you seek out with an adventurous heart. Your curiosity will be rewarded, and your choice to be non-judgmental even more so. With much love, we say goodbye.